is the moment of truth in women's cricket history. India versus South Africa in the ICC Women's ODI World Cup 2025 final, live from DY Patil Stadium in Navi Mumbai. Toss is at 2:30 p.m. IST, first ball at 3, under partly cloudy skies with a chance of a rain. But a reserve day stands ready. India chasing their maiden title after heartbreak in 2005 and 2017, stunned defending champions Australia in the semis with Jemimah Rodriguez's epic chase of the highest ever World Cup total. Captain Harmanpreet Kaur eyes glory at home, backed by Smriti Mandhana's flair and Deepti Sharma's all-round fire. South Africa in their first ever final demolished England by 125 runs. Laura Woolward's 169 and Mary Jane Capps 5 for sealing the deal. The Proteas, who've edged India in the last 3 World Cups, bring Nadine de Klerk's power hitting and Tasmin Britt's grit to silence a roaring 30,000 strong crowd. Before I go to my guests to discuss this further, let's take a detailed look at some of the statistics. So India is set to face South Africa in the women's final today at the Dr. D.Y. Patil Stadium in Navi Mumbai. Now, in the women's road to the World Cup final, in this match itself, India has defeated Sri Lanka by 57 runs. Coming to Pakistan, India won by 88 runs. Now, in the India versus South Africa match, India lost by 3 wickets. Coming to India versus Australia, India lost by 3 wickets as well. Now, coming to India versus England, India lost by 4 runs. In India versus New Zealand, India won by 53 runs. And in the India versus Bangladesh, it was a no result due to the rains. In India versus New Zealand, you also have India winning by 5 wickets. So India reached the final with 4 wins, 3 losses and 1 no result. Coming to South Africa now. In South Africa versus New Zealand, in this match, South Africa won by 6 wickets. South Africa versus England, South Africa won by 10 wickets. In the match that South Africa played with Bangladesh, South Africa won by 3 wickets. The match that South Africa played with Sri Lanka, in that very match, South Africa won by 10 wickets. In the match that took place between South Africa versus Pakistan, South Africa beat Pakistan by a whopping 150 runs. India versus South Africa, South Africa won by 3 wickets in that very match. In the South Africa versus Australia match, South Africa won by 7 wickets. And in the South Africa versus England match, South Africa won by 125 runs. So South Africa reached the finals with 6 wins and 1 losses. Moving ahead now, in the Indian women's versus the South African women's head-to-head in women's ODIs, both the countries' teams have played 33 times, with India winning 20 times and South Africa winning 30 times in the matches. So these are the statistics of the women's ODIs, wherein you had India winning 20 matches out of 33. We also have the India women's versus the South Africa women's head-to-head in women's World Cups, wherein 6 matches have been played in total between both the teams, and it was India winning 3 matches and South Africa winning 3 matches as well. Moving ahead now, we also have the top bowlers in this Women's World Cup 2025, with Annabel Sutherland 17 wickets, Deepti Sharma at 17 wickets, Sophie Elecstone at 16 wickets, Alana King at 13 wickets, and we also had Sri Charani at 13 wickets. So these are the number of opponents that they have bowled out in these Women's World Cup 2025. And we also have the top run scorers in these matches as well in the 2025 World Cup, with Laura Woolward at 470 runs, Smriti Mandhana at 389 runs. We have Ashley Garner from Australia with 328 runs, and we also have Pratika Rawal with 308 runs and Phoebe Litchfield with 304 runs. Moving ahead now, We also have the most number of sixes from this Women's World Cup with Richa Sharma at 10 sixes, Nadine de Klerk at 10 sixes as well. We also have Smriti Mandhana with 9 sixes and Phoebe Litchfield from Australia with 7 sixes. We also have Laura Woolward again with 6 sixes as well. Alright, so a high stakes match is to be played between India and South Africa today. I am joined by Mr. Sunil Yash Kalra, who is a cricket scholar. So over to you. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Meera, for having us in the afternoon. I am joined by a few of the most aspiring and amazing stories from the Middle East right now with me. I have Sanchin, who's played for the UAE women's team. And if she's hearing me, I'd like to get her on the first Q&A sessions that we planned together. She, of course, has played as the wicketkeeper for the UAE team. Prolifically, her younger sister actually plays for the UAE current team, who's currently touring. So my first question to Sanchin is, Sanchin, what do you make of your experience of the Indian women's cricket team, especially once you've played or perhaps watched them from the close quarters? Your view, Sanchin.
I think it's really like inspiring to watch these girls come out at the finals. They've shown great consistency and composure throughout like the tournament. And with the depth in their squad, I think they have like a great balance between young players and experienced players. Playing with them, watching them up close near the camps and the matches we've played against them, watching players like Smriti and Harman, it's been like great experiences. They have like this clarity in their mindset that they bring to the field, and they know how to handle the pressure and the situation. So I really look up to them and the way they play.
Oh, yeah. Any memories, Sachin, of your playing against the Indian girls, considering you've watched them? Yeah.
I remember when we had a tournament, so we right after like the matches, we used to like run to the Indian cricket teams to like go and get some pictures with them. I just feel like they're so different from how they play on and off the field. Like on the field, they're so focused towards the game, the intensity they bring out, but like outside the field, they're so calm and they hold their exposure and they share their learnings with the youngsters. So it's really nice to gain experience from them.
Well, absolutely. Well, the parents play an important role. Let me get Sanskriti from MSYTC Academy. I'll come back to you, Sanchin, on your parents' contribution as well. But before that, let me ask young and upcoming under 15 player from UAE who's playing at the nets at the MSYTC Academy at Sharjah. Sanskriti, if you can hear me, just tell me who's the inspirational players out of these group of 15 Indian and 15 South African ladies that have inspired you so much? Any one player that stands out, and why do you think that player stands out, Sanskriti?
I feel like Jemima Rodriguez has really inspired me because I see her in the field. She's always very vigilant. She's very alert in the field, and she's always having the energy, no matter what. We saw it in the last match. Even though she was tired, she played for her country, and her main goal is to play for her country, not for herself. So it really inspires me.
Well, absolutely. What did you make up of Sanskriti of her innings that night, the semi-final inning? Do you think she played out of her skin for that particular tournament?
I think so. She did. That's because you see how tired she was. We also saw in the match. She kept on praying. She kept on praying that she will stay till the end of the match. And even after that, in her interviews, we saw how she was encouraged by her team members who came in, and how she did not give up throughout the whole match.
Well,
She had to prove a point, so she did
absolutely,
it.
she had to prove a point. She was praying. Uh, she's been inculcated to that habit of the self-discipline, praying, playing, and all with that discipline. Who's your who's the kind of one person that you look up to who's inspired you to take up this game of women's cricket?
Um, it's actually not a player from the Indian team. It's Ellis Perry. I've
Right.
seen her. I used to swim before, so like playing two sports, I've seen her. She did well in football as well. So it really inspired me how she kept her focus in both the sports. and she did really well in both. So it really inspires me to become like her.
And who's inspired from your place? Was it your coach? Was it your parents? Was it your dad, mom? Who's been your guiding light?
It was my dad. He wanted me to play cricket in the start. It wasn't my dream. And then when I started playing, all of a sudden it did become my dream. Now I inspire to become like him, to make him proud.
Well, absolutely. That's what we have Sanskriti, who's playing for in the under 15 categories at UAE MSYTCA Cricket Academy. But at the same time, she also looks up. How do you manage the studies part? Because it's very important that studies should go hand in hand with sport. Do you have late nights, early mornings for your studies and sports balance?
I I really don't go to tuition. So like I after my coaching, I do not miss my coaching. I make sure I do go to coaching because I do not have an option. I have to continue playing. So after my coaching, I do practice. I do studies,
Well,
and then like every time I get free, I do manage to studies.
oh, lovely. So that's how the balance is being made. I'm also joined by Kanishka Kanvarana, who's again one of the younger players from the academy who's joining us. Kanishka, if you can hear me, who's been your what do you do and who's inspired you in the entire World Cup part? Because I'm going to come back to Sanchin after this and ask her about her wicket keeping days and who's been her wicket keeping icon. But Kanika, for over to you.
So, it's Jemima who has inspired me in the whole series of ODIs women in the semi-finals because, early wickets has fallen down. Smriti and Shefali, they all were out, but Jemima, she was the lone warrior for the team India, and the bit of support from Harmanpreet Kaur. She had full support to Jemima Rodriguez so that they both could manage just to win the semi-finals and jump into the finals.
Well, absolutely. Jump into the finals. I mean, Jamima has become a crowd favorite after the semi-final win. But before the tournament started, any word on Harmanpreet and the other Deepti Sharma and Smriti Mandhana?
Yes, they also had full courage in themselves that they could also make the team win, but it's fine if they lose their wicket, but because they had players behind. But they had also given full support in their field and for the team and the captaincy of Harmanpreet Kaur.
Well,
Was
absolutely. We're talking about the final of the women's cricket, which is currently happening or will happen in few hours' time at the DY Patil Stadium. We followed with NewsX. We did follow them in Colombo and some of the other places in India. But right now, it's the important time, the tough task. Let me get Sanchin into this discussion right now. Sanchin, you've been a prolific wicketkeeper. Uh, we've spoken about stories of parents and discipline. Just take us through who's inspired you, and I believe your father was a very hard taskmaster, and he trained you like a commando behind the stumps. Sanchin.
I think it was my father. He was, we used to actually go to his school. We were in the same school. I used to study in the same school as my dad taught. I just started as fun. I never took cricket seriously in the early stages, but it was my dad who actually pushed me. He was my first coach. He introduced me to the game and taught me like the basics. And early on in my teenage as well, it was him. I used to go back after school for training with him, along with my sister who used to help me pick the balls.
Is your sister
And
also part of the national team, UAE
uh,
national team?
currently, yes, currently she is part of the under 19 and the senior women's team.
Well, well, there we go. We now would like to go to Saloni Pandya, who's of course one of the youngsters at the academy in UAE. She's inspired by the current Indian team. If Saloni can hear me, Saloni,
Yeah.
what is your understanding of the whole final bit, India coming to it, and what is the role that your father has played? I believe he's a passionate cricketer, and his name is Hardik Pandya. He's got nothing to do with the. Often people confuse him with the Hardik Pandya. But what has been his role? Because here Jamima's father was very instrumental in getting her to play. What is your case and your story?
My dad has always pushed me to be the best self I am. So it started when I was around the age of 11, where I told my dad I want to start playing cricket. The way his face dropped when I told him. So after that, he just kept on pushing me to go for training, for matches. And over the few years, I've played over 150 matches. So every single match, he always comes to watch them.
Well, let's talk about the final itself. The final is one of the rare occasions that India has been in the final for after 8 years. The previous time they were in 2005, 2017, and now. Uh,
Mm.
what is one thing that stood out in front of you when you watched the Indian team? Was it their grit? Was it their bowling? Was their catching? Whatever. What is your take of the
I
entire thing?
I feel like it's their fielding because they're all so alert, they're so aggressive in the field, they're so at the same time they're calm and collective, like they know what they're doing.
Well, absolutely. They are calm and collected. What is one piece of advice that your father or the coach gives you when you go in for a final match as a player, as an under 15 player? What is one thing that you learn?
They tell me to just save my wicket because you never know what happened.
Well, absolutely. Well, we've got Janani, who's also joining us, Tirukumaran. She's a under 15 player from MSYDC Academy. Let's hear from Janani. Janani, if you were to play and enact this final, which one player would you like to change your position with and swap and say, hey, today I'm going to become Deepthi, Harman, Smriti, Jamima, Sneha Rana? What is your take? What would you like to become today if you were to given a chance, Janani?
Mostly, I would become Smriti Mandhana because she also plays a very vital role in the batting lineup as an opener or as a top order batsman. You gotta get some scores for the team so that you have a good score to defend or chase. So yeah, mostly Smriti.
Well, Smriti also comes and practices in Dubai. She, of course, has a City Cricket Academy with Don Bhagwati who plays there. What is that one cricket shot that you want to idealize when what Smriti plays? What is your favorite go-to shot of Smriti?
First sweep or slog sweeps are like the most idealist shot I want to play because if you know that the ball is in the spot where you can sweep it, she does it every time. It doesn't matter which whoever's bowling, whoever the opponent is. Because that's the ball for you to sweep. That is the ball you have to sweep.
Well, absolutely. Do you ever get top edges when you see those thing trying and just get caught out at the square leg or something?
Every shots are trial and error. If you don't practice them, then you can't perfect it.
Well, one innings of Smriti Mandhana that stands out in your mind, if I were to ask you, Janani?
In this World Cup only, first match against Sri Lanka, she played very
Right.
well. Yeah.
And about Pratika Rawal, she's not a part of it. Between her and Shifali, who do you think has the edge in terms of the hard hitting? Since you're a hard hitter yourself and you idolize hard hitters.
Latika, because like she performs, she plays all straight shots, like proper drives, classic drives. It like clears through the boundaries and she helps the team also to get the score on the board.
Well, I'd like to now come back to Sanskriti and Sanskriti Singh and ask her about the bowling part. If you look at the Indian part and the number of wickets that Indians have taken, majority number of wickets they've taken from the spin bowling, and the Pacers have only taken 12 odd. Uh, Sanskriti Singh, you seem to be an aspiring fast bowler. What do you think is going wrong with the Indian or going right with the Indians in the fast bowling department? Sanskriti?
Really, I feel like maybe it's just the fielding placement, or maybe where they got to pitch the ball, Or maybe just to understand the batsman that's standing in front, because every batsman plays different every matches. Maybe they're not feeling like it that particular match, so they could try to get a wicket at some point at the correct spot. I mean,
Well,
like,
absolutely. Correct spot is more important. In fact, Indian pacers haven't been dominating, but the spinners have had a great luck. In fact, they've got the majority wickets in this tournament. In fact, this is the highest number of wickets, but they've also given the highest number of extras, 77 in all the 8 matches. When you go into bowl, Sanskriti, are you particularly aware and self-conscious that you're going to be uh, having a problem if you bowl the no balls and the wides? Are you ticked off on that?
yeah, it does create problems. Like, I don't want to ball no balls. I have a particular length I have to ball to. That's a good length, and then I have to keep pitcher on the offside. I know where I have to ball. So if I do not ball there, it does get me angry sometimes. Why is it not happening? And I try to fix my run up, fix myself back to it.
Well, we are at the fag end of our discussion. I'd like to go back to Sanchit again and ask you who's going to be the winning side. Of course, everybody is rooting for India. Your Indian origins, everyone is there saying that. But which player is, according to you, will be the crucial and the X factor? Sachin, starting with you, and then I'll come back to all the other participants.
I think both of the teams have earned their place, but not to be biased, I would love India to win the finals, especially like with their batting depth and their spin attack. However, I would want Smriti Mandhana to pull out like a great show in the finals for us. And with her, I would like Harman to join and seal the deal for India.
Well, absolutely. Seal the deal for India. I'd like to get in Uttara as well. Uttara, thank you for joining us. Which is your favorite player who should play and, according to you, will play?
Of course, Smriti Mandhana, because I really look up to her, and I feel like her batting. She is obviously going to play. She's one of our vital players in the Indian team, and I just like Sanchin said, like I just want her to put like up a really good score on the board on the finals, because it's obviously going to be a great innings if that's the case.
Uttara, we haven't got you in the earlier part of the question, but now let me ask you, who's your first coach that got you to play cricket? And who's the first player that you really idealized? Quickly, before we move on to the other 4 participants.
My first coach was Paramjit sir. He was a coach. He was a PE coach in my school, and I came up to him because my brother also plays cricket, and he told me, "You're also going to be a wicket keeper for the UAE team one day." And that's it. Like that's where my journey started. And every day I used to come for school for practice at 6 in the morning, and I used to get trained by Sir, and I eventually joined his academy as well, MSYTCA.
Well, absolutely. Paramjit Singh is one of the most noted figure in the field of cricket coaching in this part of the world. Again, moving on to Sanskriti. Sanskriti, who's going to win the match today? And then I'm going to come to Saloni, ask her who's the favorite. But right now, Sanskriti, who's going to be that one player with one X factor today?
I'm not being biased, but I think India's going to win. I mean, looking at how aggressive and how competitive they were against Australia, I think India's going to win. And I feel like Jemima Rodriguez is going to do it again because she has to prove her point, and she really has a lot of courage, and she's very competitive, so she's going to do it again.
Well, one thing, Sanchin, quickly comment to this before I go on to Saloni Pandya. Sanchin, why is suddenly Smriti and Jemima has become the top ask in this World Cup? Earlier it was Harmanpreet. Do you think one tournament can shift the entire fandom of a person? Your views, Sanchin?
I honestly think, yeah, I mean, it depends tournament to tournament. I feel like as soon as you see somebody, picking up the pace, everybody shifts towards them. When it comes to Indian audience, especially, I've noticed this. So I think Smriti has been playing really well. And as soon as, there could be like a little breakdown in the game, the whole attention shifts to the person who is uh, currently playing the best. So we saw Jemmy playing really well the last game, and everybody was like, rooting for Jemmy, which is fine. I mean, we are an Indian side, and we would want India to win. So as long as we're supporting our country, I think rooting for anybody
One
is fine.
quick word. I'm just given 2 minutes extra by my producer. So can I ask you what about Marizan Kar, the fast bowler who just makes the ball do the talking? Why? I mean, what is so exciting about her? And any memories of you of Marizan Kar?
Um, I don't think I share any memory with her, but I think the way she, she's so calm, and like at the same time, she's the way she bowls. I think it's just like how she handles herself in the game. When we see ourselves normal day to day, it's just like, we get a little down when we give wides or extras, but with her, it's just like she has that calmness and aggressiveness together, and with that, she does find a breakthrough for her team.
Well, thank you, Sanchin. Again, we were talking about Coach Paramjeet Singh. Sanchin is apparently the daughter of the coach himself, who's trained her hard. Was he a very hard taskmaster?
Yeah. I
All
think
right.
comparatively to my sister, my dad has been a little more softer and pushing towards the game. But when it came to my sister, she always has complained that, my dad has been really rough on her. But nonetheless, he's our father. He's been one of the best coaches for
Great,
us.
absolutely. He's got his two daughters to play for the UAE. Moving on to Saloni Pandya. Saloni, very quick word. Who's going to be the X factor in today's final game? And any favorites from the Proteas from the South African side?
I really want Harmanpreet Kaur and Smriti Mandhana and Jamima Rodriguez to play in today's match. If they can put a high target, that would be really hard for South Africa to chase or something. So yeah,
And who's anyone from the South African team you think makes a special cut and mention?
I think Cap, I guess, she can change the game. I mean, we never know because one wicket, one anything, the whole match can shift to the other side.
Well, Kanishka, if you're listening to me, who's going to be your favorite? Of course, India, of course, and which is that one player that you're rooting for in today's final? And then we're going to come to Uttara and then Janani and wrap the show quickly.
So for me, it's Harmanpreet Kaur and Jemima Rodriguez because they, like in the semi-finals, they had a really high hope so they can win the finals and both the semi-finals. So I think they both can make it today also.
Well, Uttara Iyer, very quickly, what are your views before we go to Janani and wrap this show?
To be honest, I think with the grit and courage that India has shown, I think they do stand equally a good chance against South Africa, regardless of the fact that South Africa has come with like 6 wins. We all thought that, I mean, to be very frank, we all thought that India was going to lose against Australia in the semi-finals because first it's Australia and second of all, the score that they put up, it was a big target. But then
Right.
the like that courage that they've shown, it really shows that they can do this and they're here to win it. So best
One
luck.
player. Pick one player from your side.
Richa Ghosh, because she's a wicketkeeper batter and I'm also a wicketkeeper batter, so I really want her to also perform in the
Well,
power
well,
hitting.
absolutely. Well, absolutely. We just have time for the last word from Uttara Iyer. Janani, of course. Janani, if you can hear me quickly, give me your views and take it there.
I really want Richa to play this match too because semi-finals she put up a great knock and lessened the score. So if Richa could play this match and of course all the top order batsmen, and if Jemima can end the match as this semi-finals, we would surely be winning on our side.
Well, we had Smriti Mandhana, we had Jemima Rodriguez, we had Harmanpreet Kaur, we also had Richa Ghosh at some stage as the crowd favorite. Well, that's all we had time for this special edition of the final of the Women's World Cup that's happening currently in few hours' time at the DY Patil Stadium. This is Sunil Yashkalra signing off from the UAE with some of the lovely players and the future prospects, and an international player from the UAE women's cricket team to have joined us. Stay tuned. We'll be back after a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere else.